Express Cook Along, and from today we're giving you a second edition and taking it on the road. Chef Dumi will be cooking alongside some of our favorite personalities in gorgeous locations, and we're starting off in Johannesburg with foodie Sadiqa Fakir and media personality Kira Gangia as we get a masterclass on modern Indian cuisine. Now we've also got lots happening in studio still, so be sure to stick around. Now I think we can all agree that no place makes food quite like they do la Mzansi in South Africa. But what city do you think makes the best? Make sure you use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Now let's cross over to Chef Dumi to kick off our first stop on our very first recipe for our Cook Along road tour in Johannesburg.
So ladies, what's on the menu today?
So today we're doing a kadai mushroom with some ghee rice, so clarified butter, can't go wrong there. Some lamb chops, so tikka lamb chops with a pineapple salsa and some garlic naan to go with that. And some pepper prawns with rice, and to top it off some mango kulfi, which is Indian ice cream.
I'm hungry already. I know, right? And South Africa, if you're hungry as well, make sure to go to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full ingredients list and instructions. Ladies, I think we should get started.
Absolutely.
I'm hungry already, ladies.
Let's start some prep stuff. Okay. Let's get those mushrooms quartered up. Let's get the pepper cut into little squares, because we're going to pan fry that with onion in squares. And we're going to do things quite simultaneously, because as we prep that, let's get the tomatoes into the blending with some chili and the cashews.
Okay, perfect.
And we'll go every step of the way as I start pan frying it.
Okay, so that's clear. What do you want me to do?
Can you chop my onions for me?
Okay.
So 2 sets of chopping, little squares on one set of onion, and finely diced on another set of onion.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
I think the most important thing I want to know is, you said we're making kadai mushrooms. How are these mushrooms different from any other mushroom?
So I think it's the technique of cooking that we use. So a kadai is what you'd call an Indian wok. So cooked one at high heat, so the mushrooms don't get soggy. You'll notice that we're going to pan fry them very quickly. And kadai mushrooms are just like from the Mughal era, so indulgent. So you've got some cream going down. You've got some ghee.
Obviously, we have
Of course,
ghee.
you've got ghee. You've got cashews. So really different to your normal mushrooms and toast. But it's really, really an indulgent dish. But what I love about this dish, personally, guys, you can tick box the list. It can be vegan if you leave out the cream. It's gluten-free. Okay, it's vegetarian, so you can never say, shame, vegetarians, Greek salad. No, you can actually prepare this really well. But it also goes as a fantastic side dish, but as a main dish if you're expecting vegetarians or vegans. But it's also keto as well.
And I think that's very important, because when it comes to Indian cuisine, most people think like most dietary requirements are, you know, obsolete. You can't eat this food.
So with me, how I feel about it is that it's actually quite a myth that you can't have vegetarian Indian food, because for me, if I'm going to eat vegetarian, it's got to be Indian. It's not because I am Indian, but I've tried everything from Greek, Portuguese.
That's it.
But for some odd reason, it's just more flavorful and it's just more enjoyable.
Absolutely. And I think it's because of the spice compositions. And it's the layering of spices, which I think is critical. We all just need to understand the value of spices. And spices get turned on with heat, that we'll see now. And I think the important thing is there's the health component to this dish. So it's hit dietary requirements extraordinaire. All of the spices have lots of health properties as well. So the dish all round is fantastic. And when you cook with clarified butter or it tastes fantastic, but ghee is really good for you as well.
And like you said, keto, and keto
ticks the box.
It ticks the box as well.
That's it.
Well, before we continue, I've de-seeded these, but I also do know that most myths are that Indian cuisine is very hot. You leave the chilies, whatever. Do you want me to continue de-seeding, or can I keep the...
You can keep the seeds in.
Okay.
So I think you've hit such a myth. Everyone assumes, oh, you just put chili powder in your curries, and your curries are too oily and it's too hot. You control the balance. And I think that's such an important thing about Indian food. You decide how much chili powder goes in. You decide how much chili. For this dish, we're doing 2 chili. But if I feel like something really spicy or hot, I'll put in 4. And I'll de-seed it because I want the back end flavor of the chili. So it's actually a myth to go all Indian food is hot. In fact, a kadai mushroom is a North Indian dish. It's got a cream base, it's got the cashew base. North Indian food up in the north of India is not actually hot, it's creamy and indulgent. As we move more down to the south, where we make the pepper prawn, you now have that peppery taste and the green chili taste. So it's really up to you, and I think it's your creativity in the kitchen and you decide.
I mean, I'm so interested in what you just said. You mentioned that we're making kadai mushrooms. How different are these mushrooms from normal mushrooms?
I think it's a very indulgent dish, but it's the way or the technique that this dish is prepared in. So it's prepared in a kadai or a wok, if you have a wok at home.
Sadika, we're busy chopping up a storm here. I mean, we've got onions, chilies, but I just want to know what exactly goes into the kadai mushrooms.
So no brainer, mushroom goes into kadai mushrooms, but along with some onion, with some green pepper. Then what you do is we're going to make a tomato base with some cashew nuts and some green chili, the chili that you're chopping up, to make a thickish curryish gravy. So the cashew nuts act as a thickening agent. So those are kind of the fresh ingredients, and then ultimately spice, of course. So it's a mixture of whole spice and powdered spice. And I think that's where there's a lot of confusion. Do I put the whole spice first? Do I put the powdered? Generally, your whole spice goes in first, and you heat that with the oil because you're trying to flavor your oil, ultimately. So red chili is one of the ingredients, and now you're going, Sadika, you're doing green chili and you're doing red chili. This has no heat to it. It just flavors the oil like a beautiful chili oil. So whole red chili, whole cumin, black pepper, you heat that up, and then we're going to move on to some of the powdered spices that we need for this dish. Chili powder, turmeric, coriander powder, garam masala. I think that these are the staples. But these are the staples and the should we say the holy trinity of spicing. And then just the normal other duo of spicing in Indian food, ginger garlic. I think every single one of our dishes have ginger paste or garlic paste. So we keep it in the big buckets at home, like because we use that much. And I'm so immune to the smell of ginger and garlic that I can ward off vampires in a heartbeat, and I actually am unaware of if I smell like garlic because that's how much I eat of it. And then ultimately you have the choice of oil or ghee. For today we'll use some ghee, but if you want it a little bit lighter, less indulgent, you can ultimately use some oil, and then to top off the dish, a little bit of sugar, funny enough, just to sweeten everything, make it a little bit more indulgent, and some cream to top it off.
Wow.
That is a lot.
And South Africa, if you missed any of the ingredients list, make sure to go to afternoonexpress.co.za.
Okay.
So we've chopped up a storm, like we said. I'm putting my chilies.
You're putting your chilies in there?
You're going to plop your chilies in there.
Okay.
Let's get the cashew nuts in there. And just to help the blender, just a smidgen of water as well. It just depends on the type of blender you have at home, but you may want to put just a little bit of water just to help the blender and it just prevent the blade from getting damaged.
Perfect. Well, as you can see, this looks amazing.
Oh, you know what? At home, I wish you could have the aroma.
The smells.
Oh, it's so amazing.
I eat with my nose before my mouth and my tummy first. So that's the one thing about Indian food. It's about the aroma.
I know, and you definitely delivered over there. And so, guys, if you want to see more of this, you definitely need to catch us after this.
Absolutely.
It seems like the ladies over in Johannesburg are having a fantastic time whipping it up with the Chef Dulmi. I'm having so much FOMO, but I'm definitely enjoying to see the step-by-step cook-along that we've taken on the road. But the real question is, Mzansi, are you feeling it? Are you feeling our road trip? And do you want in on the action? Make sure you use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Now, I do hope that you're all following our modern Indian cuisine cook-along with Chef Dulmi up in Johannesburg. But coming up, we prepare a tasty lamb tikka chops with pineapple salsa. And then we meet SA multi-instrumentalist singer Manu Grace, whose sound can only be described as sensitive pop. 5 awesome experiences up to the value of 5,000 Rand must be won with Immuenza on Expresso this November. Help boost your immune system with Immuenza and stand a chance to win a weekly giveaway of skydiving, cooking with a chef, advanced driving, or shark cage diving. Answer the question on the Immuenza competition post on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter page using the hashtag Immuenza. Competition runs until midnight, December 1st. T's and C's on expressoshow.com. Afternoon Express loft, but we're only here for a brief pit stop before heading back to Johannesburg with Chef Dumi, where she and the cook-along crew are about to show us what they have up their culinary sleeves.
Welcome back, South Africa. Hopefully you've been tuning in from the beginning. If not, you did miss our first segment where we made kadai mushrooms, but we are doing the second part now, and we're making lamb tikka chops with a pineapple salsa. I can't wait to make that actually, and some garlic naan. Right.
Yes.
And as usual, if you want the recipe details, do make sure you go to afternoonexpress.co.za. Sadika, take us through this. What are we doing now?
So I'm going to be marinating the lamb chops with all of the spices, and in turn you're going to help me with the pineapple salsa. You're going to chop up the pineapples really fine. You're going to chop up some onions, some fresh lemon, chili powder, some salt, sugar, and mix it all up with some mint. And Kriya, you're going to be helping with the garlic naan.
Yes. This has been one of the easiest recipes for me, and I learned it during lockdown. It's 2 ingredients, well, technically 3. Self-raising flour, a little bit of salt, and then yogurt. And it takes all the fuss out of making naan.
And I think that's what you said about putting a modern twist to this, right? This is a quick and easy naan. Most times I thought naan was just like any other bread where it takes 2-3 days to make. Not really, but it takes a while because you have to let it rise, you have to let it sit, you have to knead it for days. So this is a quick and easy.
It's absolutely quick and easy. And it's the same with the lamb chops. Literally everything goes in. Your yogurt, your spices, so your chili powder, your garam masala, cumin, and coriander powder, literally all go in. It is one of the simplest dinners or quick meals. So just salting and getting some ginger and garlic in on the lamb chops.
I think another thing that I'm loving about this is that you also are reusing some of the spices you've used before.
Absolutely.
Which means that it also is economical because you don't have to now have your whole pantry full of spices.
Absolutely.
It's what we said earlier, it's your staples. It's one of those things that you always have in your house as an Indian. And I think that most South Africans should have it in their homes as well. Because if you have those 3 things, you can make anything amazing.
Anything. And a little bit of a twist on these lamb chops, I put in a little bit of white pepper. So it's basically, it's that warmer heat, not really the stark chili heat. And I put a little bit of black pepper in as well. So, and again, you're the master of your own heat. So you control the heat levels in and out of this. And literally, you get your hands dirty.
Okay.
I'm already there. I'm already there.
And I think that that's the fun thing with this dish. Literally getting your hands dirty across the salsa, across the naan and the lamb chops.
I think that's what I love about what you guys are mentioning about it being modern Indian cuisine. Yes, we're making the staples, but we're putting a twist on it. I mean, who would have thunk? I know when you normally make bread in bread type dishes, it takes forever. So this is quite interesting and it's much needed because also with us, some of us with our busy work schedules, you don't want to be sitting the whole day just kneading bread.
So you see your self-raising flour replaces all your rice time. So that's nice, he's smart.
How's it going over there with the meat?
All done. I am fully marinated, but ideally you want to try and marinate overnight. So kind of if you're having guests over, get it in, mix it, get it into the fridge and just leave it overnight. But if you don't have the time, 10 minutes of marinade time, you're good to go.
And I think it makes sense because right now you've put in all those spices and that actually helps with tenderizing, so it doesn't need to take forever, but it actually just makes so much, it's delicious because of the longer the meat sits, the longer those flavors mellow together. So guys, marinate your meat. You definitely must marinate it.
And have those staple spices in your house.
True.
If you have those 3-4 spices, you can make any dish, be it chicken, be it lamb, whatever, even vegetables. You just need those 3 spices.
Yeah, I agree with you.
As simple as that. And get your ginger and garlic in your fridge.
Sadika, I absolutely cannot wait to try those lamb chops. They smell amazing. But also, I'm busy with this pineapple salsa. I need you to make me understand the pineapple salsa, the lamb chops. What's the correlation?
All right, so the pineapple obviously brings a fresh kind of flavor to it. It is summer. You do need something that's a little bit, zingy. But in the same breath, growing up, Durban, you'd go to the beachfront, you never look for an ice cream. You look for the Indian auntie that's selling masala pineapple. Like, it's a normal thing to do. You take a pineapple, you dust it in masala, and you're good to go.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Because I can actually see the color now because I've just put in my cayenne pepper, my chili powder in there. We've got some onions, some mint, I've got the pineapple, and I've got some lemon juice that's going to go in there and some sugar. I get it, the flavors work, it actually works together.
It gives you a sense of nostalgia, and in the same breath, it kind of balances out the flavors of the meal. So to make our naan, we've got 3 ingredients. We've got the self-raising flour, a little bit of salt, and the yogurt. We mix it all together, and you're good to go. That's your dough.
I just need to make sure South Africa heard that. We've only got 3 ingredients going into this naan bread. We've got self-raising flour, yogurt, and salt. You don't need to have a whole pantry full. And this is still going to turn out perfectly,
It's
right?
going to turn out exactly the way you would have it at an Indian restaurant.
Okay, perfect. All right.
So we got to give the dough a little bit of a knead,
Okay.
Get everything mixed together. We then cut it up into 8 equal parts, and then we take the dough and just roll it out.
And how thick do you want it to be? How flat do you want it to be?
You want it to be quite thin.
Okay.
But obviously not paper thin.
Of course.
So it's got to have a little bit of a body to it, but not too thin, not too thick.
Okay, perfect. And how long would we cook it for? I mean, because you're just gonna literally do it on each side, right?
Yeah, so you literally just need to get each side to be browned just a little bit, and then you take the garlic butter that we've pre-prepared, which is literally just garlic and butter, and brush it on, and you're good to go.
Sadika, I think you can bring that over here because our salsa is ready, our naan is ready. And guys, you best make sure that you go to afternoonexpress.co.za to get these recipes. But that's not all. We've still got more coming up. We're going to be making pepper prawns, and we're going to finish it all off with some sweet mango kulfi. Join us again after this.
South African songwriter, multi-instrumentalist and vocalist Manu Grace is one of the most striking acts to emerge from the South African alternative music scene. Her sound can be described as sensitive pop, unguarded and groovy, appealing to both the heart and feet alike. Raised in a creative family and sheltered from the distractions of technological advances, Manu grew up with plenty of room for her imagination to thrive. For as long as she can remember, music has been her primary interest. Welcome to The Loft, Manu. It's so lovely to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Manu, I have to just go back to the very beginning when it comes to your love and music. You always said that you were a shy child.
Yes, painfully shy. Painfully shy, but like any opportunity to get on stage and I was there.
And that sounds so interesting
Bizarre.
to me. It's so bizarre.
So bizarre.
So take us back to baby Manu and how you grew up, you know, from wanting to always be on stage to finally joining a group towards your final year in matric.
Yeah, I mean, I just do talent shows solo as a kid. I remember once just to get on stage, playing air guitar to like, to the Offspring or something.
Okay.
And then I finally joined a real band in my matric year. And yeah, I just learned a lot about arrangement and recording and everything there. But I was just playing keys. And while I was in that band, I realized that I needed to sing. It was so hard to sit quiet behind the keyboard.
And I can only imagine, you know, when you in a band and in a group like that, whether there are people playing the drums or whatever it is, if there is that internal yearning for you to do more, be more, you have to almost attack it. So when you did decide, okay, as much as this group has done so much for you, especially within the Cape Town scene, you also felt like it had a healing power when you were ill.
Yeah, I mean, I through my teenage years, I was quite ill, had autoimmune issues, and it just like, it gave me something to do and focus on that was exciting and like kind of, I want to say normal, it wasn't really normal, but I wasn't partying or anything. So the only time I'd go to clubs was when I was playing.
Wow, I love that. A girl about her coin. Okay, but as I also mentioned, throughout your years and your former years growing up, you also belonged to a family that was very strict.
Yes.
You know,
well.
in terms of screen time, the access to the internet. So, first of all, did you ever feel left out growing up?
Always. I was just begging for a PlayStation, and I only knew what was happening in Dragon Ball Z. That's it, because we had half an hour a week. Probably SABC3, actually.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so you're a part of the family from the jump. So essentially, your parents made this decision to shelter you, or did they want to like boost that creativity, boost that imagination from within?
I think my mum was quite ahead of the time. She was, or she was just a bit afraid of the new technology. But she just said boredom is a gift, you know, and use it to create.
I I wish I heard that a lot earlier in my life.
Yeah.
Because I think that just being able to change the way you see things, change the circumstances you find yourself in. I used to always say, Mom, I'm bored. And she'd be like, what's bored? There's nothing like that. But this is a creative and constructive way of turning that mentality in a child and using it for the good. So this good has birthed now your sophomore album, well, EP, I guess I can call it. And just tell me the process from songwriting to recording. I mean, I believe this was made throughout the world. Well,
pretty much.
Of the world.
Yeah, it was quite strange. I was like living it and writing it and recording it all at once. I was traveling and writing and making all sorts of terrible mistakes. So I started in Cape Town with Ross Dawkin and Robin Brink from Beatenberg, and we worked on the previous EP as well. So we started here, then they moved up north. So then I went to Italy for a while just to kind of work my way up to record again with them. And I thought we were just going to finish the songs we started. And that brief stint in Italy, it just like birthed so many new songs.
Wow. So you essentially always make, you always create, and whether you're put in a corner or given an opportunity to explore, you're able to make magic. And I'm very much looking forward to your performance towards the end of the show because you are going to be performing the single that is from that EP.
Yes.
Yes. So
the title track.
About the song.
It's called No Room for Error, which is the same name as the EP. And that one kind of, I wrote it at a stage when I felt like I'd met my soulmate, but way too early, you know, and just not trusting that it would, that I wouldn't mess it up.
Well, that sounds like a very deep song from a very intellectual and sensitive young lady. I'm looking forward to seeing that performance. South Africa, please do head over to our Afternoon Express Facebook, Instagram or Twitter page and let us know how much you are loving Manu. back with Afternoon Express on this glorious Thursday. Now today we are doing something new and super exciting by taking our traditional cook-along on the road. But I'm so excited to find out from you on social media. Are you feeling the special edition? Use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments. Now Chef Dumi, along with you at home, if you've been cooking along with us, have been getting a hands-on masterclass in modern Eastern cuisine in Johannesburg. Now let's see what Sadiqa and Kriya have in store for her next.
Welcome back, South Africa. We are in the third part of our cook-along today. We've done kadai mushrooms, we've made lamb tikka chops, we've made a pineapple salsa, we've made naan, and that's not the end. We're making pepper prawns now with basmati rice.
That's it.
You told me before the show that we've been making basmati rice wrong this entire time, so you need to school us on the right way to make basmati rice.
Colanders must move when it's basmati.
Oh, really?
You never ever use a colander. So we're going to wash the rice, get it in there. Your rule of measure really is to ensure that you have 1 measure of carb or the rice and 2 measures of a liquid.
Okay.
So for every cup of rice, 2 cups of water.
Well, I'm just going to put it out there is that I specifically don't make basmati rice because it turns into pap every time I make it. So now I'm going to do it with your guidance.
And we're going to get it.
And we're going to get it right.
And you did say there's actually quite a few kinds of basmati rice. I also didn't know this. I thought it was just one kind, like there's jasmine rice, there's basmati rice.
No.
There's different kinds of
Absolutely.
basmati rice.
At your Indian grocer, I even feel embarrassed going into the shop. So it's basically whether you want a fine grain, whether you want a softer, a long grain basmati rice.
Goodness.
So it's in different parts of India that you have different basmati rices. So this one that we're making is a grainy one because we've got this luscious prawn dish that can lap up those masalas. So
Perfect.
Wish
that's
me
it.
luck.
All right, so what must we do? Tell us what to do.
Can we get the rice going
on
and you
it.
deshell prawns, and I'm going to start dry roasting some of our spices for
Okay.
the prawn dish.
Cool.
Okay, perfect.
Let me go and give this a wash.
Is there a reason why you're dry roasting specifically? Why?
Spices get turned on with heat. They have natural oil in them. So by ensuring that you're dry roasting, you're releasing those natural oils. So when we grind it, it's going to be fantastically woody, earthy. That warm taste that you get in Indian food is probably because the spices were either roasted in the oven or dry roasted in the technique that we're doing.
That makes so much sense. But you were saying something about the basmati rice that you didn't know that it needed to be rinsed.
So you need to rinse it at least 3 times just to get that stodginess out of the rice. And because we're making ghee rice, we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of ghee. So you need to give it a good helping in there.
Is there a reason why it goes in before cooking?
So the rice doesn't boil over with the water, the oil layer, and the ghee just goes in perfectly. Mind you, if you want to be extra indulgent, you can put more ghee once it's ready. Or more ghee now.
That is a good note to note. I mean, you can never go wrong with more ghee, right?
Never.
And then, of course, you want a little bit of salt just for flavor. So I'm very happy to be making the basmati rice today because I don't normally make it because it turns into pap. So at least now I'll have your guidance to make sure it's right.
Let's do a little prayer to get it right.
But I mean, I didn't know that there were more than one version or kind of basmati rice. I actually only thought there was one. You know, like there's jasmine rice and basmati rice. I didn't know that there were different kinds.
Absolutely, and if you go to your Indian grocer, you'll actually identify there are numerous types. There's the long grain, there's the shorter grain. If you like your rice a little bit drier, a bit stodgier. Also, there's brown basmati and white basmati.
Sadiqa, the aromas coming from those spices that you're roasting are amazing. But I've already chopped up your chilies, that's ready, and the prawns already cleaned and ready for you as well.
Perfect. So I'm going to get the pot back on, heat some oil. We're going to get the onions in, and we're going to quickly pan fry those prawns whilst these spices need to be ground, please.
Okay.
So I will swap with you.
Okay,
you can
perfect.
take your onions. I'll come around and grind
Get the pestle
some
and
spice.
mortar. Let me put this in here for you.
Good thing I didn't go to gym today.
Funny enough, I didn't see you cry when you were making these onions, girl.
Oh no, I cried. I cried quietly to myself.
You cried like a lady. I am so ready to dig into the Sadiqa. I'm going to dish up the rice now because it looks fluffy and white and ready.
And it doesn't
Absolutely.
look like
And I'm going to get these prawns out.
Now, if you want to get your hands on this recipe, you better make sure you go to afternoonexpress.co.za. But we've got one more little trick up our sleeve, and that's the mango kulfi. But you must make sure you join us after this.
Queen Zosmini Tunzi and Shitufato Musita have redefined the way in which the world views blackness and beauty. And no one knows that better than celebrity makeup artist Renee DeWitt, who's had the privilege and the honor of making them both glam and picture ready for numerous events, galas and shoots. Renee, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be back, always.
Always good to touch base with a glam queen like yourself. I mean, you are no stranger to doing celebrities' makeup, model makeup, and essentially getting us ready for some of those most memorable moments that are essentially picture-worthy. So when it comes to giving us glam and that picture-ready look, what should we go for? And when it comes to makeup, you've got beautiful models here. What were the go-tos? What tips can you give us?
So I always look at the face as a very unique canvas to each person, and I always look at what is the strongest feature. It was tricky because everything about this face is amazing and everything about that face is amazing. But I also take my cues from my clients and my models. If they particularly love a smoky eye, I will do a smoky eye, but I generally look at each canvas and see it as an individual, just flat canvas, and that I can build up on.
Beautiful. So
Yeah.
when you say build up on, and what should we be accentuating? What should we try to hide?
I have a very strange, weird way, you girls know this, of kind of building the face.
Okay.
So I never do one flat canvas, one foundation. I've got about 6 foundations on her, which I contour her face with.
Wow.
So I see the face as this beautiful 3-dimensional canvas, and makeup should hug it and emphasize it.
So how important is that when it comes to being individualistic? And of course, each person has their own tone, their own shade, and their own underlying pigments that essentially want to be emphasized. So how do we go about doing that? You can just dive straight on in and give us details as to the looks you've put together today.
So obviously I love painting Shudu's face. Her face is just such a great canvas. Her eyes always is just the one thing I cannot, they're mesmerizing, right? And even with no makeup on, when Shudu walks in the room, you just see her eyes. And she's this tall, statuous, beautiful woman with glowing skin. So I kind of tried to emulate that look today, where we kept the makeup, although it is quite a lot of makeup, it doesn't look heavy. And we emphasized the eyes and the lashes. And basically, I kept the rest of the face quite neutral and the palette quite neutral, and I made the eyes pop.
I love
my
that.
favorite thing at the moment, everyone loves a matte lip. I mean, I still rock a matte lip.
Yes.
But I love a gloss.
You know, it's quite...
Yeah, I think it just finished. It's more modern. It's more summer.
Absolutely. And of late, I've been so into a glossy lip that I've almost said I almost want my hair to stick to my lips. That's how I know that that lip gloss is popping. But a matte look is also iconic.
So, I mean, absolutely. And it's so versatile. So I often use matte lipstick on the cheeks and a wash on the eye, because that's where you can multitask your products and only have one product that can do so many things.
So top tips when it comes to this type of look and when we're trying to re-emulate Ushutufatso, finally, before we head over to this ultra glam look.
I think focal point is important. Skin preparation is vital. And don't be afraid to play with highlighter. Strategically placed, but highlighter is your friend.
I love that. I love a good highlighter on my nose,
I know,
a little
right?
bridge, and here, these little cheekbones, so it looks like I'm always duck-worthy. A little bit snatched. Okay, as we head over to this more shiny, shimmery, high glam look. This is, I'm more over here. This is more my way of playing. So what did we highlight here?
So what I love about Zazie, whenever Zazie sits in my chair, she goes, Renee, what are you going to do today? She doesn't say, I want this. She goes, what are you going to do today? So at the Miss SA final, I was like, I've got this glitter. Are you keen? And she went, beat me. She said, just do it. Do whatever you want.
The glitter.
I totally went crazy on her face, and she loved it.
Yeah, I think the rest of South Africa as well was just obsessed with Zozie's look that night.
Right, and glitter is tricky because it lands up everywhere, right? And I was actually sort of standing here watching her earlier going, oh no, is it right? So when that happens, which it does, even though you do prep and prime your skin, take a tiny little bit of sellotape and then just
And
lift a
that'll
little bit of
essentially
glitter.
lift all the glitter. So thank you so much. It looks like here also you've looked at the highlighter. We've kept the lips quite nude and quite basic. And I quite like both looks here. Essentially taking just the girl next door into that ultra high glam model look. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Love it all. What a great treat it was having the incomparable Renee with us today in studio. Now I'm sure that each and every one of our audience members are going to be replicating these looks so that we all look and feel like the true royalty we are. 5 awesome experiences up to the value of 5,000 Rand must be won with Immuenza on Expresso this November. Help boost your immune system with Immuenza and stand a chance to win a weekly giveaway of skydiving, cooking with a chef, advanced driving or shark cage diving. Answer the question on the Immuenza competition post on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter page using the hashtag Immuenza. Competition runs until midnight December 1st. T's and C's on expressoshow.com. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now I have got my pen and paper out, as you should have from the top of the show, just learning so much from Sidika and Kriya. And I hope that you also have been loving this masterclass. Please do comment on our social media platforms and let us know your thoughts. We've also posed the question on social media. We now know that South Africa is just king and queen, absolute royalty when it comes to preparing food. But we want to find out from you, what city has a special place in your heart? Who do you think throws down the best? Use that hashtag #Afternoon Express. Now, what a treat it has been for Chef Dumi to learn about modern Indian cuisine for our cook-along in Johannesburg. But right now, we're about to cross back as she indulges in another treat, mango kulfi.
Welcome back, South Africa, and yes, we are at the finish line. Dessert. And we've got an array of ingredients over here for this kulfi that we're about to make, and if you want the recipe details, do make sure you go to afternoonexpress.co.za. Mango kulfi. I have always wanted to learn how to make kulfi in general, but we're making it a different way, authentic but modern.
Absolutely. Because for summer we want it a little bit fresher, so the normal kulfi would be without your mango. But because it's summery and we want that zesty flavor and to cut some of that creaminess, we're doing it with some mango, so mango puree.
Well, I'm ready to dig in. Please let us know what we need to do, what we need to get
Fantastic.
started.
So let's get some nuts getting chopped, and let's get some mango getting sliced, whilst I start getting all of the ingredients into the pot. It's basically a one-pot dessert. So as soon as that milk starts boiling, we're going to get the other ingredients.
I think before we even get started, it is important for us to find out what exactly goes into this kulfi.
Sure. So kulfi is a milk-based ice cream, so it starts out with full cream milk, no low fat. There is no low fat. There is no dieting with kulfi. This is indulgent as ever. So full cream milk, fresh cream, condensed milk, you can't go wrong with condensed milk, and milk powder. So this is an interesting thing. In India, we would use, or the sweetmeat makers would use a mawa or koya, which is milk-based powder. So this would suit perfectly. Get it in the shops, that's perfect. Then in addition, some chopped nuts for extra texture, mango puree, get it frozen, take it out of the freezer, get it into your smoothie maker, puree it. And then my personally favorite, and I shouldn't be biased for spice, but my two favorite spices, saffron, because it's just so indulgent, it makes me feel like a queen, and cardamom powder. Terrible if you were to chew on a whole cardamom pod, it is a nightmare, but once this puppy is ground, she is beautiful, because heat just attracts her and makes the spice absolutely beautiful. And then the last ingredient, a very interesting ingredient, is cornstarch. So that just allows the milk to thicken, so it sets a little bit quicker. It also gives it just a very creamy, silky texture, and that's what you're looking for. So we can make a corn slurry. What I do, take a little bit of milk from the base, 4 tablespoons in there, make your slurry, just keep it aside, get it ready as we get all of the ingredients in.
Okay, while you do that, then let me get the slurry for you, and then you can get cooking.
Fantastic.
Because clearly most of the action happens over there.
Most of the action happens at a pot. A one-pot dessert.
I can't wait to get cooking with this one. So how many teaspoons?
4.
I'm loving the fact that we're using saffron, right? But it is quite an expensive ingredient to use. So what alternatives could a person use in place of saffron?
So I think as long as you have your milk base right for kulfi, you can actually just leave out the saffron. Put the cardamom in, leave the saffron out. Kulfi is so versatile that you could leave out the mango puree, and you could get rose syrup. And plop rose syrup in, and now you have pink ice lollies. I grew up with cardamom milk lollies, and I'm sure, Kriya, you did as well. Used to make it with just milk and a pink syrup. Really, really stodgy syrup. And then the other alternatives are put any other fruit, actually, that actually works with milk. So think about what goes into your smoothies could possibly go into kulfi as well.
Because I think the thing for me that's interesting is that, yes, it still has somewhat of a custard base in terms of how ice cream is made, but there's just so many other different ingredients like milk powder, which you wouldn't normally put into an ice cream. So it does set it apart, but it's still sort of the same family.
Absolutely, milk-based cousins. I'd call it cousins. So you can absolutely go wild. I've even seen variants of kulfi with chocolate in there and salted caramel. So you could really just go wild with kulfi.
Interesting. Sadika, we're making a kulfi, right? And I know with an ice cream base, you'd normally want to mix all the liquid together, like the cream, the milk, all of that, let it simmer. Do you do the same process with kulfi?
You want to bring that milk to a boil. You want to get that cream coming in before you put in any of the other ingredients. It just brings out that aroma of the cream. In India, it takes hours to boil this milk, because that's where this cream, and they generally use buffalo milk, so it's even creamier than normal cow milk. So here we are compensating, but we're adding in the rest of the ingredients, but that you need that aromatic of the milk to come in. So you can also keep your pot a little bit warm before you put your milk in to speed up the process. Next steps, the milk's coming to a gentle boil, and we're going to put in our fresh cream, our condensed milk and milk powder in. We're going to bring that to a boil for about 20 minutes, put in some of our spices. We're going to put the cardamom, the saffron in, let that infuse, and then lastly we're going to get our mango puree in. Simple, easy peasy.
Very simple.
So the milk has been boiling for 20 minutes, but the ingredients, full cream milk, the milk powder, the cream, the condensed milk, cardamom, saffron, and those chopped nuts in. Okay. So we have to let it cool down before we put in the mango puree and fold that in. But luckily, for the sake of time, we do have a batch that has already cooled. So
TV magic.
indeed. So we can already get this in and fold our mango in.
Okay, so unlike normal ice cream where you'd want to cool everything down, make the mix and cool it, you want to cool the
base.
cream mixture first, the base
Absolutely.
first, and then add...
And then you're going to add in your, whatever your fruit or whatever the
Because you don't want
base
the
is.
moisture to kind of, or the water within whatever you're adding, to mess up the chemistry that's already happened there.
The magic.
Because it won't sit. Sneaky,
it.
sneaky.
I hope you guys are listening.
That's it. And this goes into any mold of your choice. I personally love these long molds because you take it out and then you can cut it into these chunky slices. Ice lolly molds, even those silicone muffin molds that you're seeing lately, whatever your choice is, you put it into a mold and ideally about 4 to 5 hours to set in the fridge, and then take it out, put it into a water bath, a warm water bath, and it should slide out of its mold and ready to serve.
Now, ladies, my mouth is definitely watering. I cannot wait to try these. And if you want to try all the recipes we cooked on our today's cook-along, do make sure to go to afternoonexpress.co.za. But for now, we need to go get these bellies filled.
I get so excited when I learn something new from Chef Dumi and the Cook Along crew. I'm loving the masterclass today. Adding fruits to spicy cuisine is truly taking a dining experience to the very next level. Mango, pineapples, just keep on adding it, Dumi. But I'm loving hearing from you on social media, so please do keep the conversation going. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express in this masterclass. Now, earlier on, we learned all about singer Manu Grace's unique creative journey with music. But when we do return, she'll be gracing the stage with an ethereal performance.
New Sensodyne Herbal Multicare. Sensitivity relief with natural herbal extracts.
Africa, this is Manu Grace with No Room for Error. Take it away.
Thank you.
You're lying next to me, and you saying you're not so eloquent with it. You can't believe I'm another human altogether, girl. You feel so close to me, close to me, close to me. Feel so close, feel so close to me. Close to me, close to me. Feel so close to me. You're lying next to me, and I saw something inconsequently. Press close your arm from me. You feel so close to me. Close to me, close to me. Feel so close to me. Have we met too young? What can we do forever? Too good you leave with no room for error. Have we met too young? What can we do forever? Too good you leave with no room for error. You're lying next to me, and you saying you're not so eloquent with it. You can't believe I'm another human altogether, girl. You feel so close to me, close to me, close to me. Feel so close to me. Close to me, close to me. Feel so close to me. Close to me. Can't read it forever.
Thanks so much.
What an incredible song with such a powerful message. South Africa, please do head over on our social media platforms. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express if you are enjoying and loving all things Manu Grace.
Thank you.
New Sensodyne Herbal Multicare. Sensitivity relief with natural herbal extracts.
Ladies, what an amazing cook-along. In fact, before we go too far, may I please ask you to pass me some of that kulfi?
Of course.
And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for an amazing cook-along. Thank you for teaching me so much, and I believe the whole of South Africa has actually learned. I mean, kulfi, I've always wanted to learn how to make kulfi, and now I know. Thank you so much, Sadika.
You are more than welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and nothing beats just sharing a meal with beautiful women and sharing more about ourselves, but I guess sharing this food that just is so comforting.
This is definitely one girl time I will never forget.
And a special moment I'm going to remember is eating the prawns.
I'm actually going to put everything on my plate. Is that wrong? Can I mix everything?
No,
Mix.
Brian, bring your plate. Let me help you.
Can I ask you to just pass me some of that kadai mushrooms?
Of course.
In South Africa, like we've said, should you want all these recipes, do head on over to afternoonexpress.co.za to make sure that you fill those tummies, because I'm definitely about to dig in here. This is amazing. Kriya, you have been amazing.
Thank you so much for coming and joining me. You guys have to come all the way out to PTA to visit, but thank you so much for coming out.
It's been amazing. In South Africa, thank you again for watching. Do catch us next week for another segment of our cook-along. But for now, good night, stay safe, and happy eating.
Cheers.
Have you done your Christmas shopping yet? Don't forget to add your Christmas Lotto tickets to the basket as well. At Lottoland, the total prize pool for the Christmas Lotto this year is 44 billion rand. Better yet, you can stand a 1 out of 7 chance to win a prize. The Christmas Lotto draw takes place on the 22nd of December. Place your bets on lottoland.co.za. Lottoland South Africa is a licensed bookmaker with the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. National Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008. Now, South Africa, thank you so much for joining us from the top of the show where we did something new and exciting. And a huge shout out and thank you goes to Chef Dumi and the Cook Along crew all the way in Johannesburg for bringing us modern Indian cuisine. I definitely enjoyed it. But if you missed any of the details, any of the recipes or ingredients that we used today, just head over to our Afternoon Express website and we have detailed everything for you so you can join along at home. Now catch us again tomorrow as Paxton Feelies performs a brand new single that she dropped today called Undeniable. But until then, good night, stay safe and happy eating. Bye. Clover celebrates spring with exciting giveaways. Look out for selected Clover products in store to stand a chance to win. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.